Hello, my name is Sarah from It's a Sarah. Welcome to my knitting and crochet podcast. Today is Monday, March 28th, and this is episode 22 and the third one in English. Today I will tell you all about my knitting and crochet from last week. I finally have a crochet project to share. It's not finished, but there are granny squares. That's always okay. It's always good. Yeah, I have some lovely baby knits, and of course I have a finished object, my adjustments to my cardigan and a new knitting project. So let's start. What I'm wearing, my Hiedra headband from Fibertales and my quite new cardigan a bit. I showed it last week. I made my Avena. I made a sweater in January. I steeked it last week. No, the week before last week. I steeked it and I showed it in the podcast in episode 21. I will show you again because it was not blocked then, and it is now. And you can see the difference. When I love it, and I wear it all the time. It's quite good weather now. It's lovely spring weather in the Netherlands, but I don't like the sun very much. I do like the sun shining and the happy feelings with the sun shining, but I don't like sitting in the sun. So when the doors open, it's still March, it's still a bit chilly inside, or when I sit in the shadow, sit and knit, it's chilly, so I can wear my cardigans all the time, although it's quite warm. And I did. I'm very, very happy with it. The only thing is the color is a bit too long. When it folds open, it was a bit too long. So I with my steamer, my iron, do you call it a steamer? You know what I mean, I guess. I folded double. I have thought about sewing it double, but that wasn't a good idea. So I steamed it a bit, and now it's okay. It's fine. And but when I knit this color, it wasn't my plan to start the adjustments to this cardigan immediately. But when I when I wear this all the time, it makes me so happy, and I thought, oh, would it make me so happy too when I do it with my Otis Box of Pink cardigan? Yes, it did. This measurement is this measures 15 centimeters from there to there, but because I knitted the steek sandwich and the button band also on the collar, I could not rip out a few centimeters, so it's okay for now. But I knew this had to be a bit shorter, so I could have ripped out the steek and the steek sandwich and the button band, but I chose the option with less work, and that was pick up the stitches right here. And I tried different ways because the collar folds open. It was the best when you don't see a line here, a line. Now this. So I tried different ways, and this way is the best result. And you see here this line. It also looks. It almost looks like an I-cord kind of. But because I did it very neat, it's okay. It's okay. And I thought I would knit the color just as long, so it folds over that line, but I didn't because that was too long. But it doesn't bother me. I think it's a quite nice detail, so it's okay. It's absolutely, I'm okay with it. And on the inside, yeah, you can see, oh, with the light you can see it, but when I wear it, you can see a bit, but it's completely okay. So this color is 12 centimeters from here, 12 centimeters, and that's a better length because this is blocked already. It's perfect. It folds over, so it's perfect. It's perfect. I'm so happy with this cardigan now. I knit. Normally this would be the right side and this the wrong side, but because the color folds open, I choose this as the right side, and I started and ended every row with 4 knit stitches. So here's the button band, and it's it's a quite nice flow of stitches that way. The first stitch in every row I slipped purlwise, so it's a nice I did, oh, I forgot to tell in my Dutch episode, but I did tried a crochet bind off a bit, but it was that didn't look good, so I ripped that off, and it's completely okay. I'm very happy with it now. My cardigan is still a bit too small. That was the problem, because you can see the color work, it's too tight. It's one of my first color work projects, and I choose the small a size too small, and I don't think I changed my knitting needles for the color work, so you can see it stands a bit open, and especially here you can see this, because this is too tight, and I can't rip that out because I steeked it, but I'm totally okay with wearing my cardigan this way on a dress or on a skirt, so it's absolutely fine. And also this part was way too tight, and when I wear it open, it doesn't look nice, but now with the color it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. I also changed the hems, no, the cuffs you call it. The cuffs, they were dark green because I ran out of yarn when I knit this cardigan a few years ago, and now I had it in my stash. I think it's a very nice color, so I bought it once. Sometimes I bought in a sale or just the colors I love, and it was the same color. I don't think it's the same dyeing number, but it's absolutely okay. And I like the cuffs this way much better than the dark green. I didn't like that. So I'm very, very happy with the adjustments to this cardigan, and now it's one of my most worn and loved pieces in my wardrobe, I guess. And yeah, that's such a nice experience, because I almost gave it away, and I couldn't find someone in the right size, I don't want to bring it to the thrift shop, so that's the only reason why it was still in my wardrobe. I was not the right size for me, but now it's perfect, and I'm so happy with it. I wear it as a coat in this time of the year, but also inside, and I really love the Lopi yarn, the Let Lopi, and yeah, it's perfect. So, and the color, this is absolutely my style, my thing, so much more than just a rounded neckline. It was this way. Maybe I can fold it inside. Yes. It was this way, and it's also nice. It's also nice. It's not ugly, certainly not. But this is just more Sarah. So I'm very happy with it, and I think that's the nice thing of knitting and crochet. You can have it the way you want it to be, and you can make the adjustments, and you can try, and you can make it just the way you want it to be, and that's so nice. Superpower. So, okay. Another finished object, a dear friend of mine got a baby last week. How do you say? Gave birth last week to a sweet little baby boy. And I already knitted this Ankers cardigan from Petite Knit. And I told about it in my Dutch episode a few weeks ago. And last week I wanted to knit a hat for him. And I knitted the beloved bonnet from Tincanknits. I want to knit this forever, but I never did it, and I don't have many babies in my life. So now he was born, I thought I'm gonna knit this bonnet, and I don't know. Spring is coming. It's a DK merino. Maybe it's way too warm, but they have dolls, and he has a sister and a brother, two brothers, and they have dolls. Oh, I now see. I thought they were, no, it's not. So, now they are even. This is a lovely pattern from Tincanknits. I love the shape. I love the construction. I love to knit it. It was a bit hard because I'm a bit confused about my knitting identity. I'm a continental knitter. I learned knitting English style. I guess we all did in the Netherlands, knitting English style. I didn't even knew there were other knitting styles, but when I discovered in my early 20s, I did some knitting, just a scarf, and when I was pregnant for my first child, I did some knitting, but oh, it wasn't my thing. It didn't work out, and after a few years, I discovered crochet, and that was a bit hard in the beginning. But when I can make granny squares, it was I was addicted to granny squares, still am. But after a few years, when internet starts coming, YouTube, and I discovered continental knitting and knitting it around on circular needles. I didn't knew that was an option, and I tried that, and that was totally my thing. Knitting became so much easier when I did it continental, so I was very happy, but it was just one thing. My stitches weren't even. I thought I was a loose knitter, but downsize my knitting needles wasn't always the solution. I guess my stitches when I knit continental, I don't know if you see it the right way. I don't know if my camera will turn the beeld, spiegelbeeld, will mirror it. Maybe it's I don't know. But when this is a stitch and I knit continental, the left leg of the stitch, I pulled it leftwards, the left way. When I knit English style, I pull it the left inside, so the stitches are more even and straight. And with continental knitting, I tried so much yarn tensions, how to hold my yarn. I tried other ways of purling and also knitting, but it was never good enough. And I kind of accepted that I was just not a very neat knitter. But then when I knit English style, I did 2 all over colorwork sweaters, the Sparky from Andrea Mowry in November, and in December the festive yoke sweater from Steeked. And when I knit colorwork, I hold my yarns left and right. I knit colorwork with 2 hands. So my English style knitting, my right hand was had a good practice with all that all over colorwork. So that I was okay with it. It felt nice, and okay, it was not as fast as my continental knitting, but it was okay. And my stitches look much better with English style knitting. So now, I guess, I'm not sure, I'm a bit but I want to try to improve my English style knitting. And I discovered when I just knit stitches, right stitches, it's perfect. But the change between knitting and purling, it's so much faster and easier for me continental style than knitting style. So I don't know if it's, maybe it improves when I practice a lot, or maybe I just say, oh, I'll do ribbing, I do continental. I guess the last. So on my new project, my new cast on, I told you all about last week, the stripes from Andrea and Mowry. I wanted to cast on it after filming my podcast episodes, but it live came through. So it was Friday already when I casted it on, and I'm very, very happy with it. Stripes are addictive. But I'm a bit worried about my yarn choice. But first, I knit this English style, and it's all knitting in a round, so that's very easy, and it's a good practice for my right hand. And the stitches are looking so much more better than when I knit continental knitting. But the ribbing I did continental because I love that. I love ribbing. I do the Russian purl and the normal knit stitch, I guess, and it works out pretty good for me. But as you can see, the neckline is quite loose. I casted on many more stitches than the pattern says. You have two options for a neckline, a relaxed color she called, I guess, but she also has an option for a double color. But this yarn, the grams and the meters tells me that this is a sport weight yarn, but I had my doubts. I guess it was quite thick for a sport weight, but okay. I cast it on and it is quite thick. I used the recommended needle sizes. I didn't swatch. I cast it on for size 6, I guess, and I knit size 2. But I really love a wide neckline, and my Sparky works out pretty good, and I cast on the same amount of stitches, but this is quite thick yarn, and I tried it on, but I always think that you can see exactly how the yoke fits when you have split it for the armholes, and I'm almost there, but it's quite thick, and yeah, I'm a bit worried about that. This stripe is also quite thick because I knit with 2 threads of Lopi Einband, and it's a light fingering yarn, so this is, yeah, fingering held together is also a DK, of course, but light fingering held together, it's a heavy sport weight or a light DK, and this is a heavy sport weight or light DK, and the other ones are quite normal sport weights, so they are very drapey and soft and quite loose, and this one is much more stiffer, so I don't know how it will be. Yeah, maybe it's okay. We shall see. The colors are very I love the colors. I changed, I didn't use the bright pink. It was my plan to use bright pink from there, but I don't know, I didn't know bright pink. Oh, I love the color so much. Should I leave the pink? And my husband says, you have, maybe you have another nice color in your stash. And of course I have. So I changed the bright pink for this beautiful warm pink. This is alpaca socks, 6 ply from Long Yarns, and it also looks a bit heathered. There's some brown. You can see it on the screen, but there's some beige. Yeah, it's a very, very nice warm pink color and better than the bright pink. And I really love the color combination. These two, this is brown and this is black. Yeah, you can see the difference. But not very good, and I love it. So I will knit on and see how the fit is and how the yarn will turn out, and if it makes me happy or not, we shall see. But we just have to knit, then we can say. So it was also my plan to cast on another cardigan, but I didn't have the time for that. I focused on this one and the baby knits, and then my time was gone. So and now I only want to knit stripes, so I don't know if I cast on the cardigan already, because stripes are addictive. But maybe when I split it for the sleeves, it's only knitting in the round and there's no shaping, I guess. So maybe I don't know, maybe we shall see. So okay, the last thing I want to show to you is a crochet project. I always tell you I have a knitting and crochet podcast, but I never show my crochet. But I crochet every day, and crochet granny squares is absolutely my first and favorite love, crafting love, I guess. So I have a crochet project. I work on it 30 minutes every morning. I start my day with 30 minutes, half an hour of crocheting granny squares. And I do that when my family, my kids and my husband are having breakfast, and I am on the kitchen table with them, and I crochet, and that's very nice start of the day. I made 80 granny squares from this yarn, and these are all different colorways from Langyarn's Frida. It was Frida. It was gifted to me. It is Langyarn's yarn. It's DK superwash merino wool, and in different colorways, and I had all the colorways to make pictures of it. And first I started the granny stripe blanket, but I wasn't sure I had enough yarn, and I didn't like the color change between the different colors, so I started granny squares and knit 80, or actually 83. And then it was my plan to crochet them together with a solid color, so the middle granny squares would pop out and get all the attention, and a soft solid color would help them together. But when I was doing that, it was so boring. It was not nice to do. So I have very much scraps in DK wool, so I have a big basket with all my scraps, and I decided it was more important for me that it was fun to crochet the granny squares than it would be a beautiful blanket. So I make big granny squares now. I have quite a nice pile. I have 80 granny squares, so I will have 20 of these big granny squares. I choose 4 granny squares, and then I pick colors for my DK scrap basket, and I crochet a row, and I crochet them together as I go. And then in the first row I do 2 rows of the granny stitch. Oh, I forgot to check how you call it now. And in this part I will crochet what do you call it? And you have UK terms and let's see. I use the UK terms, and that's you have American and UK. In Dutch we call it a stokje. In English you call it a treble, and in America you call it a double crochet. So every granny stitch are 3 double crochets, 3 trebles, or 3 stokjes. And to have a nice straight line between the granny squares, I saw a tip on Pinterest many years ago, and I use it all the time. I crochet 1 treble, 1 double crochet, 1 stokje, then 2 double crochets together, 2 stokjes together, 2 trebles together, and then another treble or double crochet. Oh, it's I have to choose one language. This 2 double crochets on the outside and these 2 on the inside crochet together are the 3rd one, and this made one group of double crochets or trebles, how you call it. And in the next row you will make a granny stitch there and a granny stitch there. And when you don't do it, when you make here a granny stitch in there, you have 6 double crochets, and that's a bit bubbly. That's not a straight edge. So it works out pretty good for me. I do this all the time when I knit granny squares, and yeah, it's perfect. So I have only a small pile left. I guess 3 big granny squares, so 3 days, and then this one is ready, and then I will lay it down on the ground and see how big it is. And I think I will crochet them together in rows of 4, 5 rows of 4, and then maybe I will make some rows. I don't know. And I have 3 of these left. I think I will use it for the border, but we shall see. It's just a bit playing, and I don't need a blanket. And when I make a blanket, there is somebody in my mind, and it pops in my mind, and I go, oh, shall I make the blanket for these people, for them, or will I keep it for myself? And I see when it's ready if I want to give it away or if I want to keep it myself. It's all good. It's quite a lot of work, so it's okay when I want to keep it, but I like it to give a blanket to someone, because it's just so warm hug, and blanket full of love, blanket of granny squares. That's such a nice gift, but also a big gift. So I decide when it's finished what I will do with it. And in the meanwhile, I love working on it every day. So okay, enough for today. I have more projects which I'm working on, but I will tell you about them another time. And these projects get my attention the most at the moment. So okay, I will. What will you do? I don't know. I want to say, I just want to say thank you for all the nice comments, and thank you for looking at my knitting podcast. I'm still struggling with the English, but it is okay, and all your nice words give me some confidence, and I still hope that it will improve when I just do it, and when I just practice, and I know it's okay. It's not. It's okay. It's okay, Sarah. It's okay. So I wish you a very nice week, and till